Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of BrainScratch Searchlight. I'm your host John Lorden, and if one person going missing isn't bad enough, today we're talking about a case where two people went missing at the same time, apparently. Today we are looking into the case of Kayla Brown and Charlie Carver. You can see some pictures of them behind me here. And this is a case out of South Carolina. There are a few variations on the missing posters. We're going to start with this one. It has a little bit less detail, but we can see missing Charles David Carver and Kayla Victoria Brown, missing from Anderson, South Carolina, last seen in Anderson, South Carolina. We've got a date of birth of November 17th, 1985 for Mr. Brown, and November 19th, 1983 for Ms. Carver. They are both white. One is male, the other is female. So Mr. Carver is 32 years old and 5'11". We have Ms. Brown at 30 years old and 5'7". She has red hair, he has brown hair. She weighs 145 pounds, he weighs 178. They were last physically seen at different times, but they note here that she was seen on August 29th, 2016, and he was last physically seen on August 30th, 2016. However, I do believe that they have footage from his workplace, which I think is from August 31st. We'll get to some news information on that later. The couple may be in an 02 white Pontiac Grand Prix with a South Carolina tag HWY224 with an LSU decal on the back rear windshield. Of course, they have contact information that I will have in the description box down below. And now let's take a look at the second missing poster. It has a bit more detail about the details of their disappearance. Missing since August 30th, 2016, Kayla Brown, 30, and Charlie Carver, 32, were last seen leaving a friend's home on August 30th, 2016 in Anderson, South Carolina. Their families became concerned when they were unable to reach either of them by phone, and calls went straight to voicemail. They've had no contact with Kayla or Charlie since that time. The apartment that Kayla and Charlie share was found with the door unlocked, and Kayla's dog was found with no food or water. Charlie's car is missing, and Kayla's car was found in the apartment complex parking lot. And here we can see they have a few more photos of them and a photo of what the car looks like. I also pulled up a copy of what a 2002 Pontiac Grand Am would look like here. A little bit of a bigger image for all of you. So let's jump into some news stories and see if we can get some more details on this case. Starting with WYFF4.com. This is pretty close to when the disappearance happened. This is an article from September 9th, 2016. The title is Still No Leads in Disappearance of Upstate Couple. Kayla Brown's close friend told police that she had dinner with Brown on August 29th at her apartment in Anderson Crossing Apartments. She said she spoke to Brown the next day, but after a text on the morning of August 31st, all communication ceased. The woman said Brown's boyfriend, 32-year-old Charles Carver, was also missing. Police went to the apartment complex and said they found Brown's car in the parking lot. Investigators said Brown's cell phone service provider said there had been no activity on the phone for 48 hours and they were unable to ping the phone. We get another description of his car here, and the only thing that's different is they're mentioning possibly that there's a palmetto flag on the back window. I wasn't sure what that was. I had to look it up, and it looks like it's South Carolina's state tree possibly, but here are some decals that may resemble a decal on the back of the vehicle. Jumping over to NBCnews.com, we get a little more detail on what's going on here. The last images of Charlie are surveillance video from his workplace showing him leaving on August 31st. His phone has also since been turned off or possibly died. So it appears to me that we at least have some contact from her happening on August 31st between her and her friend. We have video footage of him on August 31st. That seems to be the day that they go missing, despite these reports of their friends last physically seeing them on August 29th for dinner and possibly on the 30th. But that is somewhat important because a physical confirmation is a bit different than, I've got a text back from this person. And particularly in a case like this, you're going to see why as we progress more into the story. Kayla and Charlie had been dating for several months and moved in together this past summer. Charlie was in the midst of a divorce from his wife. That's a bit of an important wrinkle in this story. And once again, just to get the physical characteristics out there, Kayla Brown is described as 5'8" tall, weighing 135 pounds, with reddish brown hair and green eyes. Charlie Carver is described as 5'11" tall, weighing roughly 180 pounds, with brown hair and blue eyes. Now jumping over to the Washington Post, as you can see, there's a lot of coverage on this story, and it's because it takes a bit of a creepy turn. We're going to get to that here in a moment. But before that, we have some more information from another friend of theirs. Charlie Carver and Kayla Brown didn't show up to dinner on August 31st. Brown was excited to show off her new live-in beau to her friend Lindsay Mason. Quote, "That's what Thursday night was supposed to be about," Mason told the Daily Beast. "It was meeting them and having dinner with them and getting to know each other. But that never happened." Security footage showed Carver leaving work that day, but he never went to dinner. Neither did Brown. The door to their house was unlocked, and their prescription medications were still at home. So were Brown's contact lenses and glasses. Police began looking into it, but as of this week, nearly 2 months after anyone had heard from them, they still don't have any suspects. "We tracked down the leads we had, but there isn't very much," Lieutenant Mike Akins told Dateline. "We just want to make sure they're okay because it has been some time." And that's one of the things that's a bit tough about this case is we do have to consider the possibility that they could have run off together. Now, there's a lot of information in here that leads me to believe that may have not happened. For example, they left their medication behind. Kayla left her glasses and her contacts behind. Kayla left her dog behind, which her family says is like her baby. And to leave a dog behind without any food or water seems unusually cruel. I don't think these are the type of people to do that. However, from the investigation's perspective, they have not been operating fully on the assumption that there has been some foul play here. Now, that might take a turn when we get to this latest development. From news.com.au, mystery over missing couple deepens after creepy Facebook posts. Around 2 weeks after the couple disappeared, Charlie's family say they started noticing some activity on Mr. Carver's Facebook account. Milestones started appearing. A July 1st post stating he and Ms. Brown were expecting a daughter. An August 1st post announcing they'd bought a house. And on September 1st, an update informing the world they'd gotten married. The problem was all of these events had been logged retroactively on October 1st, more than a month after anyone had seen or heard from the couple. Now, a few things that are interesting about this. First of all, why is someone logging into his account and retroactively making posts there? My initial assumption would be that they're trying to make it look like he was updating Facebook regularly throughout this time. Why are they telling the story about them getting married? I don't know. I don't know in South Carolina in particular, but I know in some states there's still even a waiting period where you cannot get remarried for 6 months or possibly a year, I think. It occurs to me that if he was truly in the midst of a divorce, he would not even be able to get remarried. So certainly some strange things going on. His family does not buy that this is him making these posts. Let's continue here. To the family's horror, the posts kept coming. Memes heavy with innuendo appeared in Mr. Carver's timeline. Quote, "I wonder if I said hello, how many people would say it back? Let's try it, hello," said one posted on September 24th. Another, which appeared the same day, was more sinister. "Sometimes late at night, I dig a hole in the backyard to keep the nosy neighbors guessing," prompting one user to remark, "Is that what you did to the real Kayla and the real Charlie?" And here we have some screenshots, which I'm thankful that news.com.au actually did screenshots, because some of the articles that are covering this case linked directly to the posts, and the Facebook account has now been deactivated. So those links were all broken and they're not showing anything. But here we get to see some of the actual posts. "What color ribbon supports secure for people who can't keep their nose out of other people's business?" Apparently Charlie was not big on even using Facebook, let alone kicking around memes like this. Here we get a picture of the one about the nosy neighbors. And whoever was controlling the account was sharing and liking the missing pages set up by the couple's families, including a GoFundMe campaign by Miss Brown's family to raise money for a private investigator. Other posts were riddled with spelling and grammatical errors Mr. Carver's family say that the 32-year-old writer would never make. Friends, family, and even complete strangers have bombarded Mr. Carver's account with accusations that his ex-wife has kidnapped or even killed the pair. The ex-wife has not responded to the allegations, but many users have posted screenshots of posts she made from her own account that were liked by Mr. Carver's account weeks after he officially vanished. Now, I have read some news reports that have a little more detail, but I haven't been able to confirm it because they kind of only pop up in one place. For example, in one of them, I read that the dog's crate is missing. In another, I read that Charlie's laptop is actually missing from his apartment. It might make sense to me that if someone did kidnap them and took his laptop, if it was someone that knew how to log into the laptop, assuming he had some kind of password on there, perhaps he had his Facebook password stored in his web browser. Maybe that would make it easy for someone to jump into his Facebook and start creating these posts. I'm not certain. Of course, we also have the cell phones that are both missing, but around all this, Kayla's Facebook has had absolutely no updates, and she was a bit more of a Facebook user than he was. The last of her updates is apparently on August 27th. Now we're going to jump over to counton2.com to get an update about the police investigation on it. But before we go into that, I just wanted to mention that early updates about this, particularly once the Facebook messages started, law enforcement made a comment that they had not issued any warrants to Facebook to try to get the IP information. I don't know why they didn't jump on that. I also have a little bit of a question in terms of someone has since shut that account down. I don't know if that's the best things in terms of this investigation, because you've now stopped the communication method of this person, whoever this person is. I understand that, it might be hurtful to the family to see those messages keep coming, but it might have been a decent way to continue to track this person while they did get a warrant. But it looks like things may have changed as of late in this case. This article is an update that was posted just a few days ago, October 20th, 2016, and we're getting a comment here from Chief Jim Stewart. Quote, "We've gotten a lot of posts on our Facebook page about why aren't we doing this? Why aren't we doing that? I can assure you we are obtaining the information by interview or search warrant or whatever we need to do. We just aren't going to comment to the public right now. Police say the case gained national attention because of the posts, giving them new leads, but believe that they still need new tips to come in. They say the case is active and they are closely following every lead they can get. Quote, we've obtained some leads and gotten some tips through Crimestoppers. We still need the public's help. Good or bad, we need to exhaust every possibility," Chief Stewart added. "It's similar to what you see on TV, 48 hours. You see the entire investigation all at one point. That entire investigation is going on right now." So at least here it sounds like they are now trying to exhaust all these leads, but they are still asking for help. And that's why I wanted to be sure to film this and get this out. I was actually contacted by some family members of Charlie a few days ago about this, and I have sent them a pretty lengthy list of questions. I haven't got answers to all those questions yet, but I thought it was important that we get this case out and get the exposure around it raised as quickly as we can. Also to potentially help them with their GoFundMe stuff, which is there's two GoFundMes that are actually going on. One to hire a private investigator, which is almost reached its goal of $2,000, and another to provide a reward of $5,000 for information on finding Kayla or Charlie, which apparently Crimestoppers will sometimes offer a reward, but because they haven't really been able to say that there's foul play involved here yet, some of those things are not available in this case. So I think both of those GoFundMes are very important. I have links for them in the description box below. I hope that you'll check them out and consider donating to one or maybe even both of them. Now, outside of that, there are also a few Facebook pages. I found this one, Find Kayla and Charlie, which I believe is kind of the family's official page. and another called Missing Charlie Carver and Kayla Brown. The person running this one states that they're a journalist that is working with the family. So I'll have links for this down below. You can check those out as well. And here we can see that the GoFundMe for the private investigator getting very close to its goal. However, the GoFundMe to provide a reward for information isn't doing quite as strongly. So links to both of those down below. This is a real tough case. Like I said, I just wanted to get this kind of exposed and out there as quick as I can. If I do get any more information from the family, particularly if it's corrections or stronger information than has been provided by media and in this video, I will certainly do a follow-up very quickly and let you all know what I learned from there. But in any case, I am truly wishing for the best for both of the families involved in this. Personally, you know, I think the ex-wife is someone to look into, but I wouldn't put all my eggs in that basket. There's a lot of things that could be going on in this case. There could be someone completely unrelated doing this, although when you consider the content that came out on Charlie's Facebook, it does seem to be someone that knows them in some way. But, you know, I'm also supposing that Kayla has had previous relationships. Maybe it's an ex-boyfriend or something along those lines. There's a lot of ground to cover in a case like this. So I am truly wishing the best for both of those families and law enforcement in terms of cracking this case. Thank you all. If you can please do me a favor, if you have friends in the area of South Carolina in particular, please share this video with them. Luckily, there's been a lot of exposure around this case, but the news stories, as you saw, I had to jump through many different news stories to kind of put together a cohesive version of this. They're all focusing on very different things. Some of them are omitting contact information, which I think is kind of lame. I mean, if you're going to write about a missing persons case, you should always include the contact info at the bottom. Finding just the general details about their height, their weight, their eye color, their hair color, all that was a little bit difficult compared to other missing persons cases I did. So just know the way that I've put this video together, I've tried to make it as concise, but also have all the crucial information that I've been able to find. So please do me a favor, share it with people in South Carolina area. Let's raise the awareness to this, and maybe we can make a difference in this case. Take care, everyone. I hope you're having a great week. I'll catch you on the next show on the Lord and Arch channel.